about spirituality, we talk about only economics and structures, but it is in it. You can't help. I mean, you can't sit in this roomy dome here and be depressed. It's impossible. Or you could be depressed, go inside there after a little while, see what happens to you. Reason for it is because there are so many people have been involved in building this. They all have put their energy, good thoughts, good prayers, and in this, and it's in the human form, organic form. Those structures, when we built, the minute you build an arch, you build 25% less. If you go straight, you have to build 25% more in a box, so you need to cool that much more, heat that much more, and of course, build more material. And yet these look more beautiful because they're organic forms. And they're ancient, they all have already gone through tests. So that's really what we have done. It's all a matter of egos. And that ego can never break, except when you put your hand in earth. It changes. There is no way you can learn education or teach children or grown-up only through audiovisual. It has to have hands involved, because your hands are the only connection from your subconscious to the tangible world. The minute you work your hand in there, all of a sudden you say, God, look at this. What happened? You know, when I changed direction from high-rise going to building with earth, all of a sudden I had this desire to write books in English, imagine. Still have a hard time even speaking it. And then Harper Anno said, can we publish it? Can we give you this much in front? And could you write another one for us? I never knew I can write until I started working with Earth. All of a sudden, you know, things change. Your whole work comes through, because once you work with your hands and earth and natural material, your knowledge is totally a different type of knowledge that comes to you. And it's very true that Rumi's poem says, خاک شو تا گل بروی رنگ رنگ. He talks about how long are you going to be stiff and hard like a rock. Be soft, be humble like earth, so the flowers of many colors can grow from you. The minute you break the rock into earth, dust, then you could start planting things in there. And that's what happens, you know. And working with natural stuff, that's what happens. You come in and you start digging and building. Your biggest problem would be for a while to explain, am I doing the right thing? I mean, I could be making that much dollar over there, or that much over here, that much there. This is not going to buy me another car or refrigerator. But you let those go for a little while. Then you will find that you don't need any of that. That you could live very simply. So that's the technology we're really working with. And it's a work that belongs, as I said, hundreds who have participated. That's ultimately, that was one of the reasons I was at Los Alamos and NASA, because I showed them how you can get the solar heat and change the earth into ceramics, and built right there. We fused it with the McDonnell Douglas's big mirror with the solar. It creates up to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Imagine on the moon you go up there and you pile up the soil in this form. And you get the lens and you start melting the soil right from the top. And lunar dust melts very easily because it's all glass and ceramics. And then as it crawls down just like lava, you have a crust over your earth, hail. You cool it off by holding shade into the shade, and then you dig the material from under it. You've got a structure. You don't need to take anything except that knowledge. And the latest project we are working we're after getting some funding to set up this interactive internet for different parts of the world. Right now, we could have helped India immediately, right from here, by keeping a live workshop here to show step by step. Because India exports sandbags to the world. And, lots of military barbed wires. That's all it takes to build all those safe shelters. And that's what we want to do next, is the next stage, to go through this interactive internet, to teach directly, bypass building code, bypass governments, bypass UN, because, if you can't beat them, don't join them, just go over their heads. I think that's even better. They come in. So that's therefore, I think the teaching of Rumi and so on that's so great at helping us is any one of these barriers that they come in front of us, we know that that is an opportunity. Even if you don't build your house, if you know how, that changes the picture totally. It's just that knowledge that changes the whole attitude, the whole lifestyle, the whole work. And working on that attitude, it just has to come through the senses, the teaching. So when the kids get here, we just tell them two things. And we have lots of children who come to workshop here. We say, while you're, first of all, when they came last time, there were like 30, 40, 70 of them by bus. I told them to walk backward in. Of course, they're all interested, curious, what are they walking backward? And somebody said, oh, so we're moonwalking, huh? I never thought about that. That was great, yeah. I said, no, you're back walking because whatever you have learned, just put it outside. Throw it out and come back here, because, we teach children from childhood the only way to build a house is to do that form with the square window and the chimney, and so Santa Claus can come in, and that's it. That's what we teach them, and everybody draws the same house. I mean, we could be going through years of university in architecture, still you ask them to draw a house, that's what they draw. You can be a genetic engineering or space shuttle scientist, you want to buy a house, you're looking for that house again. And yet, if you want to go today to get building permit from any building department, that's what we talked about it to the code people. We said, imagine there was no wood. And somebody comes in and tells you, I want to build my house with this product, which is called 2x4. And I nail it and I put it together and so on and so on. They say, okay, what is the characteristic? Well, it burns in the fire. It rots. Termites eat them. And all of these problems that exist with us, the building code will never allow you to build with wood. And they agreed. They said, we don't know how it got into the code. People started building, and we keep going, telling them, put more nail, and that's how the code came about. Otherwise, there is no material that's, you can burn the whole town with one match. This is not a building material. But it's there, it's acceptable. In our education, we don't get that sort of knowledge of asking questions the right way. As I said, why are these buildings falling apart? Why are they burning? Why are these happening? Where is this money goes? It's all national, it's a wealth that goes into the sky and is destroyed. So that's why to do that. And I don't think, teachers are there not to teach. It is, the knowledge isn't there yet to question. And it's coming. It's coming, as I said, it's coming with the lifestyle that's happening now. I think where the change comes will come from students. Otherwise, I don't think teachers want to us teachers are just like building apartment people. We've learned certain things and we are trying to teach you. But here we just try to concentrate on research. The community that we're trying to develop here will be based on just one word, research, and in-search both. We'll be all dealing with that because only through that system things will come through. Every time there's disaster in America, I think it's a blessing for the rest of the world. Because people have to come here, they go and come up with alternative ways. They find other ways that the rest of the world don't have that chance, the possibility. I mean, look, there's this energy crisis in California. I think it's the greatest blessing that's happening. So disasters are just like that. I mean, here, if you have more flood and fire and more blackout, there'll be freedom from fossil fuel very quickly. And the rest of the world that also their economy depends on nothing but selling their oil or this, they will become free too, because they have to find another source. This whole manipulation comes from, thinking that you have answers. And we establish those answers. Okay, so about these buildings, by the way, we have 3 types of building here. One is made with standard bricks. We wanted to show if you use standard material, you can go to your building material and buy some bricks and buy some sand and cement. You can build a roomy dome, and we have small models there. Every student built one of those in a short time. It costs you $20 to buy one paint extender from Home Depot and build this structure. This structure costs that much for your equipment. It takes no plywood, no form or anything. It's just one compass going this way and going that way. You will learn to build that. So we wanted to show that. And this is the roomy dome of light. We built this one of the first because light comes through all the sources. And then the second one is really what we are building with super adobe. It means we are bypassing making adobe. We just take the earth, whatever it is, almost whatever it is, and dampen it, and then put it in the bags, and put them in the coil form for a straight wall, curved wall, and then between each layer we put a layer or 2 layers of barbed wire that they're working like mortar so they won't move in earthquakes or anything. And then we put an arched roof so that you don't have to have timbers and they won't burn. So that's the one that we've gone through the pyramids also. And the third is a research we're doing right now on dealing with the lunar and Martian colony and so on. And the reason for that is not that we say let's go and colonize that place. No, it isn't. We've seen what mess we've made on Earth environmentally. I think if we go ahead of time and show that you can go on the moon and build with what is there, we'll be way ahead of all the manufacturers or the people who just send the junks up there. And that's it. And then on the other side right now, one of our students doing his thesis, building a dome, building a structure, and we will fire and glaze the whole structure to become a huge pot, ceramic, to integrate the whole art of ceramics into architecture. Not as little tiles that just stick to the wall, but the space itself could be fired, which I have a book there called Ceramic House in Space Technology. How to build your own. So it's just really a pot, but bigger, holding. And that has great advantage. We have, as far as we know, they've told us there are 200,000 people in this country that are so allergic to any material. This total ceramic will be a great savior to them. And also it gives you total opening now to have ceramics buildings. That would be fantastic. So that's the technology we're also working at. The greatest thing that I've learned from this 700-year-old poet Rumi, which is the most popular poet in America today, and I translate his poem, is that we are all given at our birth mansions and wealth beyond anybody's belief. It is our birthright to be happy, successful, and we will be. It's just as we go through life, we keep developing this doorkeeper attitude. I mean, it's our mansion. We own our mansion. We own it. We have it. But we just keep going in a step lower and lower into something that we want to keep this gate closed. Nobody else comes in. Nobody else goes in. We change our attitude. And when we lose that power that was given to us at birth, then the dreams are gone with it. Because we just want to survive. And it's not that important. I mean, for you, if you have maybe a much more expensive car than you can afford, maybe it's better to have it even less expensive. It gives you all the freedom, time. I mean, for me today, I have worked for the last 25 years in this work and made a lot of money in this and spend it all in the work and continuously, because it gets to the point that you don't really need that much yourself. And when you don't need that much yourself, then you are already free. And to me, the greatest wealth anybody can have is the time. How much time? How much of your 24 hours a day is yours? How much is yours? How much is mine? How much of that time? That is the gauge of wealth. And that you want to spend on your family or friends or learning, because the rest of it is you just have to get up and do it and try. I mean, you're so scheduled, there's no time to think. You have to sit around, it's impossible. So the students that I have, when they come here, first 2-3 weeks, I just tell them, just don't do any homework, just go around. Of course, they work much harder later. Not that they're going to go easy through it, but just to find yourself, you're not under pressure like that. You will be free to make move that you will never dare. So that's what really dreams are all made of, is fear, because ultimately it's